Again, good morning everybody, thank you for coming. My name's Scott, I'll be your Deputy Commander PM shift from about 2-ish till about the end of the event. Anita Christini will be the overall commander for today, or tomorrow even. Jackie is our mentor and will be our liaison as well. From the start of the day, which is about 5 AM-ish, till 5 or whenever Leah comes to relieve Jackie, so Jackie can go get sleep. Sean is another deputy commander who will be down at St Kilda from about 1-ish till the end of the event as well. Yes, that's the important thing. We're all important, I'm not saying that. Anyway. So tomorrow, 22nd of March, it is Ironman, if you didn't know. Again, thank you all for volunteering your time. It's a large day, I think it's the biggest event that St John Victoria has. Yes? Yeah. It is. There's been 120 people directly involved with tomorrow.
We've got 136 people rostered tomorrow.
And 136 people rostered, there you go. So it's rather a large event. The event overview, if you've never been to Ironman before, for Sam from Queensland, well done. Tomorrow's an ultra endurance event. So it consists of a 38-kilometre swim, 180-kilometre bike ride, and then a marathon run at the end. I don't know why people do it, but you know, why. So a total of 226 kilometres, and they usually complete it within 8 hours and 17 hours. Maybe sometimes a little bit less, a little bit more, but you know, for those crazy people. Competitors-wise, just over 2,500 competitors, representing 36 countries around the world, so it's a fairly big event internationally, to be honest. The youngest around 19 years of age, and the oldest just above 70, I think. With 20,000 spectators around the whole 226 kilometres, I guess. What's not? Yeah. The weather forecast for tomorrow should be sunny like today. No rains expected, light winds, with a maximum of 26, 27 degrees. So it should be an okay day for us all. Unless you're starting at 5 o'clock in the morning, you'll be pretty cold. Our mission, alright, like always, at any other event, is to promote event safety and community resilience, reduce impact. Oh, I've gone through it all, you can read. But yeah, again, members must work within the established national clinical scope of practice and comply with the National Code of Conduct, which hopefully you all know. Pretty sure you signed something when you joined saying you do it. But, yeah. The execution of the event. So, as Jackie said before, there's 136 people rostered for this event from 5 o'clock in the morning until about 1:30, 2 o'clock the next morning, Monday morning. 6 first aid posts and medical posts with mobile responses, 4 hurt vehicles. I believe it's 2 vert crews and a hurdy-vert. Yes, 4 responses. Right. So the swim, the start line starts at Frankston at 5 o'clock in the morning, where it has a co-located pattern first aid post and 1 vert crew. Yeah. This all sort of changed last second. Anyway. And then the swimmers, if they can't complete the swim, the swimmers will be evacuated by water by the Coast Guard and Surf Lifesaving to either 2 evac points, which they'll be shown on the maps when you get them in your packs later on today. Evac 1 and Evac 2. There should be St John people at each evac point. Alrighty? Well done, Paul. The bike league. Once they come out and transition into the bike league, going from Frankston all the way up Frankston Freeway, East Loop southbound, where we should have two hurt crews, north and south, with a response car during the middle. So the middle of it, so we can have some coverage there. and a bird crew on Frankston Freeway, and a first aid post at the turnaround point. Any questions so far? No? Awesome. Keep going. For all the response cars, when travelling on the Eastlink, you all have to travel in a southbound direction. Right? If you have to go back up the course, northbound, you have to go onto the actual freeway and then up the freeway. You can't just turn around on southbound at Eastlink and go straight back up. Because then you'll get in trouble, I'll get in trouble, and then we won't be very happy.
So the only exception to that is if it is an extreme emergency, and I will let the comms people know, and they will tell you. If you're not told that, do not do it, because you will get in trouble. The other thing is that there's a 40-kilometre speed limit on the southbound lane at Eastlink, unless it is for an emergency and you've been given permission to travel faster.
But make sure it's at a safe speed as well with the conditions. Okay?
There will be a lot of bike riders and it's very congested. That's why they have the 40k. I know it doesn't sound a lot, so that's why they have it. And also the speed cameras are still on. So if you speed on Eastlink, even though you're going through something in an emergency, yes, we will probably be able to get you out of it, but remember the speed cameras will still be switched on.
Right. Also, for the herd vehicles and transport vehicles, we do not have transport capabilities as well, unless it is pre-approved by Jackie in the EOC. Alright, and the health command or wherever, they will be sitting with Jackie. Righty? Awesome. The run lead. We'll go from Frankston to St Kilda, following the Nepean Highway at Beach Road, with 2 live sites in Mordialloc and Brighton. There'll be that's where the herd
Herd is at Mordialloc, so
Yep.
we're between Frankston and Mordialloc each area, and the herd will be from Brighton through to St Kilda.
Right. And then obviously bird coverage along that route as well. The finishing line at Katani Gardens will be co-located with the first day coach and the mat. The mat's rather large if you haven't seen it before. I think it's a total of 30 odd beds, 5 metre acuity, 4 high acuity, all that type of stuff. It's not where it usually is the last couple of years, so yeah. There'll be a bird crew there and a patient transport buggy, 15 if you haven't seen it before.
The bird crew that's located at the finish line is the one that's the bird crew.
Yep. Alrighty. Awesome. Request for services. So the quicker the headquarters knows, or 3HJ knows, the quicker we can get stuff to you. Alright? So we'll be received for us to go to jobs. It will come from the EOC, or the Event Operations Centre, the HIMT, or the Health Incident Management Team, field generated events, so all your field events, all that sort of stuff, and other agencies like, I don't know, FigPol or MFB or, I don't know, security, those sorts of people. Remember to advise 3SJ Melbourne if you're responding to field events, so if it hasn't come through security or anything, make sure when you're going to an event, you let us know. We need to know where you are at all times, so for resource allocation and all those sorts of things as well.
Before you
Right.
go further, with the aid stations that are at this event, they are generally numbered very poorly. So in the white flag, there is numbered 1 to 5, about like leading up towards Springvale, but then they're also numbered 1 to 5, heading back from there down to Frankston. On the run leg, they're in sectors, so again, there's 1 to 5 or whatever it is. So being very clear about where you are on the course when you're training, we have to aid station, because it is very confusing for most people, and myself, who have had to be a liaison to exactly which one you're actually attending to or in that area.
There should be marshals along the route and everything, in case you don't know where things are. So if you do get lost, make sure you let us know that you are lost, so we can then direct you to what the best location you can give us, so we can let you know where you need to go. when you're arriving at an event and when you're clearing from an event. When you arrive at an event, within 30 seconds, if possible, we'd like an early sit rep, alright? Which then consists of your location, or the best location you can give us. Every map is from Melways, so the Melways grids is what we'll be using from headquarters as well. Alrighty? The age of the patient, gender, conscious and breathing status, what they're presenting with, and any other resources that you require, either it's a hurt, if you need an AV truck, whatever it may be. Right, as well, the bib numbers. For this slide, I'll hand over to Jackie, who will go over this further.
Yeah, so every competitor has a bib number on their arm and recorded on their leg, and they also have a band in their actual bib on them. It is vital with this event that we record the bib number of every single participant. We must know their bib number if you are calling it in any job into 3SJ. We need, with this event, particularly with the elite athletes where they are qualifying for other races around the world, sometimes they try and dodge their times by saying they might have been with medical if they seek medical assistance longer than they were so they can get time taken off their, end timing and stuff like that. There's lots of race reasons behind why they do what they do, and sometimes they need things. And if a participant then questions it, then because it's the international body, you have to go through and look at it. So it's really, really, really vital we have bib numbers. If you have a person come in for treatment and it's just basic band-aid sort of, graze, fix them up, send them on their way, that's good. If you've got anyone in your post or you're treating them, except if they're in a mat, because we will have people there recording that, we need to know if they're in there for more than 10 minutes. So you need to call that through, you need to let comms know that you've got participant. I don't care about names, we don't know names, we don't know bib numbers in this event. The bib number is this, they came in at this time, and we need to know when they left, exactly what time. Also, if you give anyone Panadol, you must write it on their wristband with a P and what time you gave it and how many. So that applies to Panadol because it's usually the one they'll come in for, because it can affect the drug testing at the end, if they have more or less or whatever. And also if they go from station to station and get Panadol along the way, we obviously don't know, or you won't know that the participants had Panadol at post 2 and then they've made it to post 3 and they want more again. So please write it just a P and the time you gave for Panadol and how much. So 2 tablets or 1, that's all we need to know. At the Frankston match this year, they will have someone who will enter in every person's bib number that comes in, the time they came in and the time they left. We'll also have someone at St Kilda, and that feeds back to a live system in the ECC so we can see every competitor on the course. If you've got someone that pulls out along the way at your post and they can't continue, again, please let comms know so we can have that recorded in the ECC and that we can keep a track of every participant in this race. Yes, I know it causes a lot of extra comms work for Paul and his team, but with this event, unfortunately, it's what has to happen. It's also sometimes a bit of extra work for you guys, but that's the way it has to be. With this event, like I say, the basic sort of Band-Aid, Panadol, fix it up, we can do that. There are some grey lines around treating people and whether they get disqualified from this race, which they've got some very strict guidelines on. So if you've got competitors running past your post or at the finish line or even coming out of the swim or whatever, do not pick them up to treat them unless they give you permission and they say yes, they want help. If they say no and they look half dead, that's okay. You cannot touch them. You need to let them do what they need to do. The only time you can touch them and they haven't given you permission to do so is if they are physically unconscious. Because if you do, they automatically get disqualified. Not such a problem at the start of the race, but at the end, particularly on the last part of the run, people, or going past as they're getting tired and over the finish line, people will fall over the finish line. They'll stumble, they'll get up, but you can't touch them. So really important. I know it's quite distressing to watch for some people that haven't seen that, but you have to leave them. Like I say, if they become unconscious, then you go for it, treat them. But if they say, no, I don't want your treatment, I want to keep going, you have to let them. So really important. Bib numbers, and be careful about treating patients if they don't want you to treat them. Even though, yes, you can quite clearly see they need to be. So has anyone got questions about that? No, we don't need to know about the Panadol, but you do need to write it on their wristband. They will have a wristband, so just write a P, and like say time you gave it and whether you gave 1 tablet or 2. But if they're in your post, a response crew, any patient that a response crew goes to, yes, we need to know about, and any patient that's in a post longer than 10 minutes.
Is Panadol the only medication they can be given and not be disqualified?
In the MAT, that's why we have record all of them, because that's obviously they can get other things in the MAT that they can't get out on the post.
Even Semolanta or something out on the post, are they allowed to have that?
They can, yes. Yeah.
You have to record it still on their wristband.
Your Panadol's the main one. I mean, they won't usually ask for Mylanta, but I suppose if they do, yes, yeah, give them that. There are people that are in this race that have probably asthma and stuff like that. You're allowed to give them Ventolin, that's fine. A lot of them will carry their own and just give it. People won't stop in this race. They just keep going to the end, and they get to the end, and then
They won't even have buffer breath.
they just keep going.
You record Ventolin on the wristband as well?
No, you don't need to. That's fine.
The
Yeah.
reason why I have to sort of like record this stuff is because they randomly do drug tests, right? And if they do a drug test, Panadol will turn up on the drug test if they've taken it through the event. So they're making sure, because it is an international event, and a lot of these people are trying to get into the Hawaiian Ironman, so this is sort of like a qualifying event for the Hawaiian Ironman. So they do random drug tests at the end for the elite competitors, even some of the amateurs as well, just to make sure that they're not taking performance-enhancing drugs and all that type of stuff.
But does Ventolin need to go on the wristband?
No, that's fine. Yeah, they carry it out, but it is on their medical record. So I have sent the medical records for every patient or every participant to the key people that need to know that information at the St Kilda end and the Frankston end. And I also have that information. Obviously, we don't send it out to everyone because it's got personal information on it. But comms can either contact me or they can contact the MAT at Frankston or the MAT at St Kilda. And the key people at those areas will have that. It will also have their pre-weight on that information, because the pre-weight is really important in this event as to how they can be treated and sometimes what happens to them at the end. So that information has already gone out this morning. There was also, just for a side note, there is a competitor in this race this year who is competing, who will be doing the run leg in a moon boot.
Okay.
So if you see that, yes, I know about it, and yes, they have had permission to do so, and yes, you need to let them keep continuing.
Right.
There's no answers to the stupidity of these people.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jackie. So we'll move on. Any other questions about what Jackie had to say? No? Anything so far that isn't clear? Clear as mud. Patient assessment. So when you have been given permission to treat a patient or been called to a patient that needs help, we need you to take a full ample history, which is allergies, medications, past medical history, last meal and event leading up to what happened to this patient. Also, a couple of things you need to ask that will help you assess the patient is how much fluid they've consumed, urine output, vomiting, diarrhea, how much carbs they've ingested, medications that they've taken or that they are taking, recent current illness, cold, flu, gastro if they really, and race preparation if they've done any training for the race. Right. Rolf, do you have anything to add to any of this? It's pretty much this. So we'll go.
Okay. So my name is Rolf. I'm one of the doctors down in St Kilda. This has been turfed off 3 times. It was locked before. Then he went to Ducky. Now he's in better luck. I have to do this. This is my first Ironman, and who's the person for you guys? Anybody like?
We're all in together.
Well, those people who know what's happening might as well come up and do the talk. It's straightforward. Anything that you're concerned about, not sure, ask. That's the first question. The second thing, most importantly, yes, you're out there for people, but I want you to look after yourself. There's no point in rescuer being the victim. So if you see something, look around for damage. Don't be zero. Look at it, visualize it, assess it. If you think it's not safe, don't do it. But then there'll be 2 of you. That's what the rest is trying to say. So, important. Yes, even like watching people falling over and stuff like that, you have to also do that. The other thing, of course, is basically there'll be 4 things that essentially you'll be dealing with. Heat exhaustion is one of the heat-related illnesses. I think most of the ones that we've seen is heat affected, so like cramps, nausea, sort of tummy pain here and so. Next one up, heat exhaustion. That's a little bit more serious. That's almost in that zone because there'll be panic, there'll be sweating profusely, maybe a little bit in and out. But those are the ones that you want to check. Also, 3 things to check in each one of these heat-related problems. Check their mental state, see if they know their name, address, year. Simple things. If they're all over the place, there's some sort of problem. Check if they can just walk on the road, and just simple ops, temperature. I think once we start getting temperatures in the 39 zone, by definition, this last one, heat stroke, is 40.6, so we're thinking they're 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're the ones that we really worry about. Heat stroke, the last one, basically they're completely out of it, the blood pressure is really low, they're pulsing really fast, and they're not sweating. So if you see someone who's hot, not sweating, completely out of it, straight to the mat. Other things that we'll be dealing with, of course, is a very common problem, exercise-associated collapse. So what happens is athletes that as they're running, the blood is pooling around or running around, and the muscles in the legs, the soleus pump, they're the ones which keep the blood flowing out. When they're running, and all of a sudden they change events or slow down or stop, the blood supply back to the heart drops suddenly in some instances. So standard in terms of treatments, usually they'll be unconscious or all over the cancer. Put them down supine, lift their legs up above either apart, and just assess the mental and then see if they recover within 10 to 15 minutes. If not, come see us. The other thing, of course, is something called exercise-associated hypometry. That's a little bit of a tricky one. That's something that Lockheed's really good at explaining. But what it means, essentially, is that it takes too much water. So the question mark comes to you is, should you give water to somebody who is in that state? Well, simple thing, if they're completely mentally disorientated, blood pressure is low, they're not sweating, so they're in the stroke area, don't give them water. Because sometimes when you actually give them water, only could actually make it worse. So it's basically caused by too much water and causes the salt to drop relative to the liquid, and that's the severe problem that procedures to brain communications and so on. So not a good thing. And finally, of course, there are 2 other things: broken bones and heart attacks. Most people who are pretty fit won't have heart attacks. Those coming to Anzac Day, that's something a little bit different. But this one we shouldn't expect any heart attacks, but it is possible to have various competitors or different majors. So heart attack or anything like that. bombs out there, you guys make the biggest difference in terms of the evidence base. Earlier mentioned oxygen, if you've got it, for those who are unconscious, those who are conscious, you don't have to. Early CPR, early DP, send them off to the hospital or to us. They're the four things which only make all that fancy stuff you add to medication. None of them is evidence-based. So you guys make the biggest difference if you see someone who has a collapse cardiac arrest. Otherwise than that, just those people-related problems, broken bones, cardiac arrest, and collapses.
Thank you very much, Rolf. Any other questions about what Rolf had to say? No? Awesome, we'll go back to the slide. Right, so a couple more first aid considerations. Blisters, we're normally trained not to burst them, but a lot of competitors want to burst them so it doesn't cause pain or, whatever. We do prefer not to burst them, but if they keep saying, oh, I want it to burst, I want it to burst, we can give them a sterile splinter probe for their own use. Alrighty? Chafing, Vaseline, and some other lubricant. I'm pretty sure we've got Vaseline. Is that okay?
I'm pretty sure it's supplied by the event for that.
Roger. Alright, so they're usually supplied by the event. They might give them to us when we get to your coach. Who knows? But that's for them to apply themselves. Okay? So if you apply it to them, that'd be sort of a little bit weird and creepy. Nausea and vomiting, assess the quantity and appearance, and assess the oral intake, all that sort of stuff. Paracetamol, Jackie talked about that, and their temperature. I'm not sure if every post gets temperature gauge. No, they don't. So if you're worried about their temperature, then again, come up on 3SJ and let us know that you're worried about someone's temperature, and I'm pretty sure if we're not too busy, we can get a PERT to come and see you, okay? Or a relevant healthcare professional. Alrighty. Alright, we talked about them. Additional assistance, competitor medical information held on the central database, which then, I'm pretty sure 3SJ might have some, no, obviously not, okay? And then, so let us know if you need that information, and then we can go to Jackie and get it for you if it's needed. And clinical translation sheet is available in every admin pack at the post. So we've actually got laminated sheets of paper that have various languages on them to say, do you have this? And then they can go across to their various languages. Alrighty. Healthcare support. There's another, like I said, there's a number of healthcares here. I'm pretty sure I heard Ben say every PERT actually has a doctor on it. This here, every PERT car apparently does. The PERT. Well, there you go. Okay, so there we go. There are a number of healthcares around to help you out if needed. If you're unsure again, we're not going to say, no question is a stupid question. If you're unsure, let us know. It's better to be unsure than do something that might, jeopardise your patient's condition even further. If the patient's condition is not improving, request further assistance via the radio again. Alright, it's pretty self-explanatory there. Documentation, non-clinical services forms need to be filled out tomorrow as well. Alrighty, that's most of our work, band-aids, all those sorts of things. OB12s, okay, they need to be filled out appropriately and correctly with as much information as you can be put on them, alrighty? And especially the competitor number on the top of the OB12 as well, so their big number, alrighty? And then place paperwork in the pre-addressed envelope, which are in the admin pack as well, when you get them with your meals and all that kind of stuff.
Can I just emphasise there from Deb who does the Libby who does the OB12s, please make sure that you actually send your OB12s in as soon as possible, because they have to actually have a report done and finished by the end of next week. And post has been at the moment, it's taking me about 3 to 4 days for it to actually turn up to headquarters. So Monday at the very latest is really what needs to be done. All packs have got a self-addressed envelope in them, so there's no excuse to paper postage.
Awesome. Welfare, meals we've provided, alrighty, which they've all been made up and they're ready to go for you to collect. So Frankston will receive breakfast, lunch and a snack pack. The live sites will also receive lunch, dinner and snack pack. Same with St Kilda. Alrighty. And the meal and the perks will have them as well, just so you're not left out. Comms, again, it's detailed in the comms plan, which Paul is here to communicate to us.
So team leaders will get a copy of the comp plan in your pack. So please make sure everyone reads it. It has some important information. I'll touch upon a couple of things. We're using a number of channels. So we're using channels 1, 2, 3, 9 and 26. So it will be confusing for people. If you find yourself in the plan, it will tell you what channel is most likely to work where you are. If for some reason you don't have good coverage where you are, change location a little bit and try the same channel again. If that still doesn't work, feel free to try one of the others or give us a phone call. We'll tell you if we're not reading you very well. There's a couple of dot points on the note section. So the main thing we've covered, 30-second sit reps are really, really important. We're not after the life story of the patient. Just as you turn up, they look about 20 years old, they are male, they are female, this is their PIN number, we found the right patient, they're conscious, they're breathing, and they've fallen over. That's pretty much all we're after for a 30-second sit rep. We don't need, so we're running at the 45-kilometre line, and then they trip over something, and it looks like they've broken their leg, and we've already switched it, put up to that level of detail as soon as you see the patient. It's very basic confirmation that you've gone through the patient that we dispatch you to. And that's because if you turn up to another patient where the PIN number or the symptoms don't match, we need to get another crew to go and find the patient that you're actually called to. At the start of your event, make sure you log on to 3SJ. Every crew that's out there should have a portable radio, and we want the cell phone number. Does anyone not know how to find a cell phone number on a radio? Good, alright. The call signs are also allocated in the document. Please use them. Refer using the numbers in here. They're calling up as a random post for crew number 4 at post number 3. That would be very confusing. Please use the call signs that have been allocated. If there's something not right, communicate it back to Anita or one of these two and we'll sort it out. The radio is going to be very, very busy. Try and keep your information as concise as you can. And if you are turning up to a patient and you have a second or third crew, please also confirm the group number that we've given you and sent, because we want to make sure again that you're turning up to the patient that we need to find. The team leaders will be asking for casualty stats. It is important as a team leader that you understand how many patients are coming into your post, have your paperwork organised, and therefore being able to provide these couple of numbers every 2 hours should really be a big deal. So when the operator calls you and asks for them, if you can please have them ready. We're doing odd or even hours. Even. So at every even hour, so 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock for example, we will be calling through and asking for that information. If you're a team leader and you've got a mobile phone, we'll probably send you an SMS reminder as well. If you're really technically literate, you can reply to that message with your details and you won't have to talk to us over the radio.
Something as a case says too, they're actually cumulative numbers, not like having it done between 8 and 10 and 10 and 12.
Total, yeah. It's the total for the event. So if we call up at 10, we want all the patient numbers up until the day. And we'll ask the figures. We'll ask the casualty figures, so the number of OB12s you've done, and your non-clinical, so the number of 1s and 2s that you put on the non-clinical services for. And again, that's cumulative all through the event. Does anyone have any questions about comms or radios? This is the radio.
Have you got radios here for Hertz?
No.
You don't?
If you are particularly short of radio, come and see us. We might be able to organise something, but most divisions should be able to supply it. Your radios will have this thing on it called a speaker mic. If you have a radio that does not have one of these on it, go and return it to your divisional manager and smack them in the head and ask them where it is. These things have got noise cancelling technology in them. So when you're surrounded by these chanting, cheering crowds of people making lots and lots of noise and you're trying to communicate back to us, if you're not using this speaker mic, we have probably a 10 to 20% chance of understanding what you're saying. So this is very important to be on the radio and to be used. And if it's not there, take the radio back and go get another one that has one of these. When there's a fire, they will come.
Any other questions? Yes? No? Moving on. Maps. Everyone, every post and every herd has maps included in their admin packs. Alright, utilising the Melways and recognisable landmarks within the area. Every vehicle should have a Melways in it. Okay? So if you lose your maps for some odd reason, you should have a Melways in your vehicles, because that's what we're using. So that's where we got the maps from. Alright? Details of road closures are in the admin packs as well, so you can't complain if there's one that you missed. Then we can get it sorted. Transport members can make their own way to their post locations. If you're with your division, hopefully you'll be with your division and then move off to your post. Alright, the St Kilda map, that's a meet at headquarters due to the extremely limited parking on site. Okay, if you're from the west, I'm pretty sure there's a high ace going from Altona or somewhere. So if you can liaise with myself, so then I can give your name and number to the person who's coordinating that. Okay?
Anybody leaving to go to the St Kilda Mat, the two vetoes will be leaving here at 12 o'clock tomorrow. There's only one lot, so it's just in districts.
What's the deal with the Frankston map?
You make your own way to Frankston.
Where is it, the Frankston?
At the foreshore, right down at the foreshore.
Yeah.
Frankston foreshore here.
Come see us after the meeting.
It's just there.
There is no King Street.
I will be parked out the front of headquarters, leaving it from.
You make sure no, will be
Come and see that full time.
Yes. Yes, I believe so.
I'm just going to be up and make an hour ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you come see us after that, then we'll be able to tell you where you are and all that kind of stuff. Alrighty. Any other questions so far? Awesome. The event finish. So these are rough times. They're not exact. Okay. So the swim should finish at around 9:30 in the morning.
So the swim time and the bike time and the run time, those are the cut-off times for the races. Anyone of the participants who does not make it out for these times is automatically disqualified from the race. So even though they're only small people, the bike and the swim league, they'll get people out and they won't usually continue. But the run league, if they've started the run league, they usually let them finish. So although the cut-off time is 10 past 1, it's not uncommon to still have people coming over to the finish line at 2 o'clock in the morning. Because they won't let them continue when they're so close to the end, which is, yes, a pain in the ass for us because it means most times we won't get out of Frankston until sort of 3-ish in the morning, 3:30, sorry. But I suppose from the competitor's point of view, they've gone 226 kilometres, what's an extra half hour? So
Exactly.
this is where the bike crew come in, and it's their job to kick them.
So again, the cut-off times are for the international event because then they time them for the qualifying as well. Okay. So cut-off time again is 9:30 for the swim, 5:45 for the bike, and around 1:10 in the morning for the run league. And again, the times are approximated as well. Okay, they might extend them, they might cut them back. That's up to Ironman to make that decision. Alright, please await advice from 3SJ to close or crew, okay? Those, again, will come from Paul, myself, Anita, the command team and the EOC. Alrighty? Done. Any other questions?
Just have a few things to add. I'm not sure that you know the Run for the Kids is on tomorrow. So the tunnel is also closed for and the
The
bonnet.
policy as well.
And the Walter Bridge, yes. There are 40,000 people in the Run for Kids tomorrow morning. So it's going to cause huge traffic chaos, to say the least. They also have Queen's Road closed for the St Kilda Annual people from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. because they're taking their footbridge down from the Grand Prix across Queen's Road. So again, another nightmare because it coincides with the end of the race. A really important point to remember, the district is not on site at posts and they have no capacity to get to you. The traffic chaos is horrendous with this event. You are pretty much stuck where you are. So please allow time to get to your posts. Particularly around the Frankston area, it's just a nightmare. And then once you get up towards St Kilda again, an absolute nightmare. And with the extra road closures and events on tomorrow, good luck.
Alrighty, so again, all your ice that you'll require, your division will have to supply because we won't be able to get it to you, because if we try it'll be melted by the time we get there. Alrighty, any other questions?
Next year's Ironman is on the 3rd of April.
We already know. And we're already saying.
And the training room is already booked for briefing, so we'll be warm up.
Correct. Alright.
In regards to meals and snack packs and admin packs, all that sort of stuff, they are currently all sitting up at headquarters itself. I need one person from every crew or post to come and see us there, and you will get your sandwiches as well. It is essential that you guys put your sandwiches in the fridges for your post tonight, and do not give your members food poisoning. That would be really great if you don't do that for us. The mats, St Kilda mat, most of your stuff is already there. Sean will be taking the sandwiches in tomorrow in the veto, so if you're at St Kilda mat, you do not need to actually come and see us. If you're on a Gert guys, and any other post, you must come and see us here to collect all of your supply. We do not deliver, so do not ask me because you may not get a really nice response.
Especially that early.
So that is essential that somebody from every post, every crew does actually come and see me to get your food. There is drinks, etc. supplied in the packs. The mats will have waters provided there. You must bring your own ice, so if you're on a Hurt crew, please ensure that you pick up a bag of ice on your way. In regards to collecting vehicles, again, the keys are at headquarters, so you need to come and see myself or one of the boys to get your keys and to get your vehicles for tomorrow. Is there any questions in regards to that? Like, okay. Okay. I do recommend you bring more because there's lots of sugary stuff in it, but that's just my personal opinion. Every member will get one juice pack, one bottle of water, and one can of drink. You'll get a sandwich, a packet of chips, 2 lots of sandwiches. There'll be a sandwich and probably a wrap. That's to be your lunch and your dinner. Or those who will be doing the early morning and the hour, you actually have little breakfast packs, so you will have cereal, there is milk, and there is vegan spoons down to eat with it. So, there is those who will be at St Kilda
let's make sure we're looking after each other tomorrow. It is going to be fairly warm, so welfare will be a big thing. Look after yourself and each other. If you need to have a break, have that break, and don't just try to be the hero and push forward, because then that'll cause problems for Anita, myself and Sean if you decide to fall unwell and you push yourself a little bit too far. Alrighty, so apart from that, any other questions? No? Awesome, thank you very much for coming.